and slightly off romance, but who were you in a past life? So I have three piles. We have pile one, which is the tiger's eye. Pile two, which is this green stone that I keep forgetting. I think this is peridot. I don't know. And then pile three, which is the black tourmaline. Excuse my badly done nails. Okay, so three piles. Make your decision. We're gonna start pile one at 037, pile one. 037. So let's see who are you in a past life. Okay. So we have thank you, number 40, which rounds to 4. Okay, you guys had a lot of stability in your life. You guys had a happy home. You guys could have had a loving spouse. You were someone who expressed a lot of gratitude. I feel like you guys were female. You guys were very feminine in another lifetime, but you guys were very homely. I felt like you lived a very mundane life, very stable. Some of you could even be life path number 4, but you guys were very, very methodical in everything you did. You could have been earth signs in another life. We also have let your friends help you. So you were also someone who people could lean on for support, and I think people were very grateful towards you even then. You were considered somebody's rock, someone who people relied on for emotional stability, for even financial stability. You were very, very you were very reliable, very dedicated as well. Why am I getting, for some of you had 9 children? Okay, if you're a woman. If you were a man, you guys were just very stable and very sturdy. We also have big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. So some of you were considered like trendsetters. You were the first to do things. Like, so I feel like you could have started something that we now hold as tradition, as human beings. I don't know which culture, but you could have been the first in your past life to start something because you had a dream. It could even be technology. Like you could have really saw into that and felt like you resonated with that. And then everybody else decided to follow in your footsteps. You were actually very well known, and people really did look up to you because of how different and intelligent and just there's something about you that was really radiant, but also very sturdy, very reliable. You guys could have even been leaders in another past life. But people really appreciated you. You had a lot of positive thinking. So no matter what was going wrong, you still remained positive in every circumstance. You guys were very, very positive in that manner. We have unite. So I feel like you were the type of people who brought people together. You brought families together. For some of you, even if there was a problem, you were the one to always solve problems between different people. Even other people who may have marriages that are going through a lot of like rocky situations. You were the type of person to bring people together. A great sense of unity. And we have this situation will improve. So again, positive thinker. Could have Sagittarius in your chart, but you were very positively thought. You had a really abundant, healthy mindset. I feel like some of you were kind of giving this nomad energy where it's like you wouldn't stay in places for very long. I'm hearing the quote, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. So I feel like you often left places. You often would go on journeys on your own. Even if you did have a family, you would still go on journeys on your own. You had time to rest and recharge. You could be introverted in this lifetime. And yeah, you were not afraid to take some breaks just to find yourself. But I feel like people valued your energy. People really missed you. People really yearned for you. As I saw 411, I feel like a lot of people really wanted to try and message you. Back then, there wasn't social media. So it's like people really wanted to write letters to you. It would even come across as fan mail. People really wanted to get close to you. They really loved your energy. And you were very supportive. You were very inspiring. And you brought people together. You were an ultimate like peacemaker. You know, you are somebody who people look up to and be like, I want my child to be like so and so, or I want to be like so and so. You were highly respected. But yeah, you did take, it's almost giving me monk energy. Like some of you may have been monks in your past life where, you know, you take some time to rest and recuperate. But for majority of you guys were married, you had a family, you had 9 kids, and you just were really, really like supportive. For others of you, it was more of like you were just this nomad energy, because we do have the chariot as well. And the chariot is like someone who, they go and come as they please. Like they when they go somewhere, they don't stay for a long time. They're just passing by. Oh, hi. Hey. Yeah, I feel like you guys were very highly respected during this time. And you guys were very loving, Queen of Cups. So in this lifetime, people may mistake you to be someone who's quite distant. Like, you know, you're loving, you're caring, people appreciate you, but you're not as available for everyone. So people, it makes people value your energy even more. And some people may mistake it to mean, oh, maybe Pal One doesn't really care as much about me, or maybe Pal One is just too busy for me. But the thing is, you were busy creating life, you were busy creating big things, changing ways of thinking, being a heavy influence. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, I'm just talking. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you, KM. But yeah, like, so you guys were very, very strong and very powerful, but you guys also had this loving side to you with this Queen of Cups. It's like you hold everybody deeply in your heart. Like, it wasn't just a case of, oh, you know, let me just be a great leader, a good support system, and then like dash. Like, no, you guys still loved everyone, even from a distance. Like, you guys are the type of people who I describe as ambivert, where you can be social and extroverted when you need to be. You'll be there for people. You are a very good person in your heart, but it's like you also need time by yourself to rest and recharge and, you know, take a break from people, but you still love them from a distance. You still care for people. So you guys made a great leader, whether it be a leader of a country, a city, a town, or even just a leader in your household where you made the, you know, the big decisions, people relied on you. But there's just something very unique about you guys. You guys were very inspiring and very visionary. It's like you wanted the world to be a certain way, so you made efforts to try and influence other people to do better, to be better. You were the hype person for everybody, and I feel like you were someone who people can really just feel like home. So you bring people together. So even if there were wars going on, even if there was so much disharmony going on between two races, two tribes, two family members, you were the type of person that knew how to solve the problems between all of you. And it's like, it's almost like you have this sense of being close to people and uniting people, but you also don't like allow yourself to get so muddled up and attached to the situation. You're like, I'm just here to bring peace. I'm just here to bring stability, morality, and then I'm going to, you know, go and spread all my amazing work in other places. So you guys are quite well traveled. But a lot of people did look up to you. A lot of people saw you as someone who they wanted to aspire to be like. So that's why earlier I was saying something like monk energy, where people look at you as very calm and zen, but also very like assertive and need to be. And people just, you just command respect. People just really respected you in general. And when you died, like you left the world like in a slightly better place than when, you know, you came into that lifetime. And I feel like people really appreciated you, and people were genuinely hurt to see you go. You know, people really, like, when you died, people really felt like, oh my God, like Pal One was a type of person that I aspire to be like. I'm so pained that they're gone. You know, you were very loved, very adored, very missed. And you also made people who did not like you, they start to like you. You know, so you may have faced a lot of opposition, and somehow these people who did not like you at some point began to like you because you were just yourself, and they were trying to find reasons to not like you, but they couldn't find any reasons to not like you because you were just so genuine. You were just so loving. You know, like, see how this woman is looking up to this woman in the card. Like, it's just like people couldn't help but just find you revolutionary, and people just loved it, absolutely loved it. And I feel like you were someone who was also deemed as very, very pretty and very, very ethereal beauty like. And people just found it very magnificent. Some of you could have had even gifts, cognitive gifts, because I'm being drawn to the crystal ball here. And even in this photo, how this woman is swimming with other creatures, it's almost as if like you guys are following the light. It's like you guys were very intuitive in that lifetime, but also very much in touch with whatever your intuition was telling you to do. You were highly guided to do it. Every single being that existed really, really loved your energy. You had a very strong magnetic energy. I feel like you guys had a very good blue, not blue, what's it called? Throat chakra. I'm saying the color it resonates with, but you had a very powerful throat chakra. You guys were very brave. You guys were so brave, especially with this tiger's eye. You guys were very brave. You did not fear anyone. You know, like you had to face opposition, but it's like you didn't fear anybody because you knew that you were doing the right thing. You knew that you were fighting for a good cause. But it's like, I don't get that you was the type of person that goes around stabbing people or fighting with swords, but I get you're the type of person that you would not be afraid to defend those you love. And I feel like everybody really adored that. You remained positive through every situation. Some people would come to you to complain and say, oh, my life is a horrible thing and I'm just not happy. And you would find a way to motivate people to think of the brighter things in life and to help them keep going, because I feel like you also suffered a bit, but it's like you managed to get out of that situation because you remained positive. So you guys had a really great aura, and I would not be surprised if you guys still have this same aura in this lifetime. But I feel like for a lot of you, your purpose revolved around helping people, influencing people. So if you're in this lifetime, you may end up being like, you know, a low-key influencer or somebody who people look up to and respect in this lifetime, right? But in the last lifetime, it was more impactful from nation to nation. But in this lifetime, it will probably be start out on a smaller scale and then work its way up. But yeah, I'm getting you guys were very, very brave and strong, regardless of gender. But yeah, that's all I'm getting for pile number 1. I'm going to try and wrap it up and go to pile number 2. But yeah, it's always interesting, these topics. I have been looking at past life regression and whatnot, and I just feel like it's a really interesting topic. So I thought, why not do that? I'm going to move on to pile number 2. Okay, so at 1300, this is pile number 2 with the peridot. I think that's what it's called, peridot. I could be wrong, please correct me if I am, but I just called it the greenstone. So who was pile 2 in a past life? Feel the well, 25. Feel the well. Okay, I feel like for some of you, you guys were very persistent. I'm getting a very persistent energy. Like, you were the types of people that just did not take no for an answer. You guys were like, no? Oh, hell no. I'm going to work hard and make this a yes. You guys were very persistent. But I'm also getting an elevation in status, because I feel like some of you may have started out in a very low position in life. Like, I wouldn't say slavery, but like something where you have to be more like a servant, where you have to serve others, but you're under somebody and there's a hierarchy, and you guys may have started at the bottom of the hierarchy, but you worked your way up. You worked hard for everything you had done. You know, 2 is a number of partnership, and 5 is a number of change. I feel like you may have been someone who even married up for some of you, where you may be the person with the lower status, but you may have married someone who's of a higher status. But regardless, the whole message I'm getting, 2 + 5 is 7. You guys were very learned, because, you know, that is a number of learning. And you guys remained devoted to whatever you were doing, and you worked your way up in the system. It kind of reminds me of... if you know the story of Joseph, like Joseph was this very handsome man, and his father favored him out of all of his brothers. And his brothers got jealous, so they sold him into slavery. And then he had to spend years and years of being a slave, but he had a gift, and that he was very clairvoyant. Like, he was able to interpret dreams. So he was, you know, a psychic. And he managed to interpret dreams of other people. And then one of the higher pharaohs selected him to interpret dreams for him so he can, help him avoid certain problems in the country. So then, therefore, his status elevated to a higher social class. And then those brothers didn't know that their youngest brother could even become someone who's very highly respected, and then they begged for his forgiveness. So that's what's giving me that energy of like you guys worked your way up into something. We also have flirt here, so you guys were very good with your words. I'm not getting flirt as in like you guys were flirtatious with the opposite gender or even the same gender if that's what you're into. I'm not getting it so much in a romantic sense. It's like you knew the right words to say to people to get ahead. You were very sophisticated linguistically to get what you want because you guys were very clued up on human behavior. We have the high wraith, longing for home, homesick for the stars. So I feel like there was always this sense of loneliness that you felt inside, like, oh, why do I feel like I'm supposed to be here? Or I don't feel like I belong here, and I feel like I need to be somewhere else. So some of you could have been immigrants to a nation where you were born. So you may have been born in a country and you could have moved from that country or been taken away from that country to act as a servant. Because I'm also getting that vision of if any of you watch Game of Thrones, there's that language interpreter called Missandei. She was taken from her home and she was used to interpret language and she was treated badly. But then the beautiful Daenerys Targaryen, a queen, she decided that she wanted to have her instead and treated her nicely and lovingly like a sister. And it's giving that image of like Missandei being from one country and then being brought to other countries through slavery or through doing some sort of act of service. But with the flirt here, you guys were really good with your language skills, so you could find a way to manipulate people if you wanted to, but you were not evil. You were not evil whatsoever. You were just very highly well spoken and you could speak multiple languages. That's what I'm getting. You guys were very, not bilingual, but I'm even getting a polyglot. You knew a lot of languages. But yeah, oh my God, communicate clearly. Oh my God, I love it when that happens, when you're talking about a message and then it gets confirmed with another card. So you guys spoke multiple languages. You guys could communicate with many sorts of beings, even spirits. Like you guys were very, very linguistically talented. Good morning. So you guys were just very, very talented when it came to the speech. You guys could have a Mercury in Virgo or Gemini. But yeah, we have the Seven of Swords. So yeah, I'm not sorry, Seven of Wands. So you guys were very, very hardworking. Like you didn't just, no one could ever call you lazy. That's for damn sure. You guys were extremely hard workers and you always spoke well of others with the truth. You always told the truth. Even if you knew it would get you in trouble, you knew how to package that truth. Like you knew how to not sugarcoat, but you knew how to deliver the truth in a way where your head would not be cut off, basically. And people really admired you for that. You were very, very strong-willed. You were somebody who, no matter what, you would always be persistent in everything you did. And you managed to elevate from one status to another. That's what I'm getting. You guys were just very intelligent, very well-traveled, and linguistically superior to a lot of people. But I'm just getting a lot of hard work with this energy, like so much hard work, very sturdy. But I'm also getting with this Temperance, you guys were very composed. So say, for example, in this lifetime, some of you someone may tell you that, oh, do you have resting bitch face? Like you may not disclose your emotions on your face. You may not be the most expressive. Like say, for example, if you're happy, like you may not start bursting out in happy tears, or you may not be like extremely smiley. You may just feel very happy inside, but on the outside, you're very composed, you're very steady. And I feel like you also had the ability to really mend different countries together. So as in like, say, for example, if you were a diplomat, like you found a way to make two countries unite and stop having to have any wars. I don't think you stopped a war, but you prevented wars from happening. But I definitely sense that you were in service of someone who was very hierarchy, and you worked your way up to get to that point. You were very good with your language. But then you often missed home. You often missed where you came from. So you could have been immigrants, but it's like you were born in a certain place, but then you had to move and you had to move around here and there and there. But then you missed your original birthplace. You missed family. You missed your parents. You missed your siblings. And I feel like with you, that's where the whole composedness came from. It's like you didn't even have the time to cry or to complain and be like, oh, I want to go back home. Like, you made no excuses for yourself. You were very strong and you were very professional, and you just stuck to whatever you needed to do. But I feel like a lot of people respected you, and I feel like a lot of people admired you. You were the talk of the town. People would often speak highly of you and wonder, wow, I wonder where Paltu came from. I wonder where Paltu is from. You had a very exotic beauty. And a lot of people did really, really fall in love with you. But I sense that you didn't even give them the time of day. It wasn't like Pal 1 where some of them were married with kids, or some of them were a different gender, but it was more like in this part, it's more like you had many admirers. So many people wanted to be with you. So many people found you absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, handsome. But it's like you didn't even have time to give them that same love. You were very, a bit like defensive, whether it's intentional or unintentional. You were very defensive because you had to remain professional, and you were more dedicated to your craft and your goals, and you weren't really focused on trying to get married and have kids. You were more focused on your main purpose. With Pile 1, it was more like they can handle both. So like they had their purpose, they had influencer energy, but they still had time for a family. But in Pile 2, I'm getting it's like you would have been open to the idea of having children, but you are so dedicated to doing your job correctly that like it didn't really slip your mind. But many people yearned for you. Many people really wanted to marry you and have children with you. But you were very, I'm getting blunt, like you were very honest. You were very truthful. You never lied. It's giving Jon Snow energy, where he was told, like he was asked, oh, who is your queen? And he chose the woman who he considers his queen. And then everybody was telling him, why didn't you just lie to that woman so she would give us what we wanted? And he was like, what's the point of lying? If we're lying, then words don't mean anything anymore, and then it would just cause more chaos. So you guys were very intelligent, truthful, highly respected. You guys spoke multiple languages. You guys could communicate even with spirits. You guys were an immigrant. You went from place to place to place, and you often missed home. You often missed family. You were very admired and loved, and very beautiful, very exotic. But I just see you guys just like rejecting a lot of people, but not because they were not any worthy suitors, but because you were so dedicated to what you came to do. And you were very composed and very classy, just very in your element. You had your way with words. But yeah, I'm just getting, it wasn't always that way. I feel like when you were younger, you've had to really strive and work hard to level up in status. But that's all I'm getting for pile number 2. I find this topic really interesting. It's really fun, honestly. I've been into this for quite some time, so I'm like, oh, I might as well do a reading on it. But that's all I have for pile number 2. I'm going to move on to pile number 3 now. So pile number 3. So I'm using my phone. I used to use a camera when I used to do readings on this channel, but I'll try and switch that soon. Okay, so 2415, pile number 3. This is the black tourmaline. Okay, so who were you in a past life? I feel like you guys were very, very guarded, but just also very protective of your energy with this black tourmaline. Okay, let's find out. Accept love. Okay, 3 and 9 is 12, which rounds to a 3. Collaborative energy. So accept love. I'm gonna pull more cards before I get to explaining that. We have this could be the one. Learning to be human in the world, but not of it. Earthed. We have helpful people. We have the Devil card. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Three of Pentacles. And we have pregnancy. So who was pile 3 in another life? I feel like you guys had encountered a lot of betrayal. Okay, I'm just getting this intuitively. You guys were originally born with so much love, warmth, zest for life, but I feel like you had encountered a lot of betrayal, you know? And because of being betrayed by a lot of people, it kind of turned you a bit more protective of your energy. It kind of made you feel like, okay, well, I don't really want to open up to just anybody, you know? And now you had to be more selective with who you shared your love with, right? But I feel like there was a particular person in your life who fell in love with you deeply, but you were so fearful to get close to this person because of the past betrayal that had taken place. So you were very like cautious with who you gave your love to. With this whole this could be the one, I definitely feel like there was a moment in your past life where you felt like, I'm in love, this person could be the one, but you were so scared to take that risk because of whoever hurt you in your past. And being hurt and betrayed doesn't always have to come from a lover. Like, you could have been hurt and betrayed by family, friends, workers, and then you could have been like, okay, now I don't trust people. And then the time you do fall in love, then you're like, I don't know if I should take the risk. But I'm getting like with you, it's like it kind of shut something in you. It kind of made you a bit more defensive around people because you didn't know whether you could trust them or not. I'm getting you also rejected a lot of people, like more than pile 2. You rejected a lot of people because something tells me you guys were abundant. Okay, especially with the pregnancy card, you guys were extremely fertile. I'm getting rabbit, like rabbit energy. You were very fertile. You could create money like it was nothing. You guys were quite wealthy. And with this Three of Pentacles, you guys worked so hard that some people were even jealous of what you had achieved. Some people felt like, why did pile 3 have to get that? You know, you worked hard. And it's not that you were born into being rich. I feel like you were born normally, but then you somehow managed to cultivate your own finance, and it made people very, very jealous of you. And then you became rich because of how hard you worked. So then you started to wonder, are people in love with me or do they just want my money? You know, so you were very cautious. It's because you wanted to have money and share it with people you actually care about. But then it became a situation of who can I trust and who can I not trust? But I do sense that you did love someone and that person did love you too, but you were also too scared to take on that risk. This could be the one. So you may meet them again in this lifetime where you may feel like, why am I so in love with you, but I'm so scared? You know, you may have this same theme in this life to come soon. You may reunite with that person. But with this pregnancy card, I feel like you guys were just very good at cultivating not only wealth, but you guys were very fertile. Very, very fertile. Like if you wanted children, you could just pop them out, you know? So the issues were regarding accepting that love, because we do have here accept love. And I feel like that's something in your past life that was hard to do because of a lot of betrayal. You had people who, you know, you didn't know if they wanted you for your money. You didn't know if they wanted you for your beauty. So you were very cautious. But in the end, it kind of made you feel kind of sad because you were rejecting people. You were pushing people away. But deep down, your heart yearned for someone particular, but then you still were so scared to take on that risk. It's almost you guys had a very detached energy in that time because we have learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So it's kind of like you had compassion, you had love for others, you had empathy for others, but it's like you also had this sense of detachment whereby if someone did something wrong to you, you didn't hesitate to walk away from them. It wasn't something where you're like, okay, I'm going to try and make it work with you. It's like, as soon as someone showed you signs of that you can't trust them, you automatically closed yourself up. So you didn't have any exaggerated attachment. You were not codependent in any shape or form. You were very independent. But I'm getting you valued loyalty over everything. You may even be still the same in this world where you value a lot of loyalty. It's like you will take a loyal, dedicated person over somebody who's just rich and that's it. It's like you want someone to love you genuinely for who you are and not for what you have or not for what you look like. You want someone to love your soul, and you're not going to settle with someone who is superficial, someone who only likes the way you look or only likes what you earn and that's it. You want somebody who loves all of you and for who you are. Like, even if they were to go blind, they would still see your beauty inside and out. You had a lot of supporters though, with the helpful people. You had so many people that looked up to you, like fan behavior, similar to Powell, I think, 1. But Powell 1 was more of like people admire them because they want to be like them. But I think this energy is more of like people really support you because they really just love you. They really just find you beautiful and they're just really like, damn, I'm in awe. And then you wondered to yourself, like, is this obsession? Because I do sense that you attracted a lot of people who were very obsessive. People who would try to figure out ways to hold you down, figure out ways to stay connected to you. So even if they had to step on other people's toes to get to you, they would do that. Even if like they had to get you pregnant to stay with them, they would be willing to do that. These people were very obsessive. You had a lot of people who just really would just drink your bath water, honestly. I think it's because you guys were very magnetic even back then. For pile 2, I think they had like a blue aura. But I think for pile 3, like, you guys have a golden aura. Like, people just flock to you. Like, it's almost like you have people under your spell. Very seductive, but unintentionally. Siren energy. Like, you were just very, very seductive and sexy and mysterious and beautiful. And I feel like pile 3, you didn't even do this on purpose. Like, this is not who you truly are. It's like you don't want people to be obsessed with you, or you don't want people to think you're mysterious. It's just, that's just who you were. Like, that's just who you used to be in this lifetime. I think you guys also had a very good sense of fashion taste. You guys had the best clothing made by the best people. So it's like you guys were average in status in the beginning, but then you guys became rich. For some of you, it could have been royalty, but that's not what I'm getting particularly here. Like, I'm getting more of like you guys just had a very wealthy upbringing and you guys were very well traveled, but it's only because you worked hard on your own. I'm not getting a case where you married up. I'm getting a case where you were already on a high level before you fell in love with someone. But then you always question whether they're actually the one or if they're going to hurt you or not. But you were very protective of your energy. Too many people wanted to get too close to you and you didn't trust everybody. There were some people where you're like, I don't trust you. So you kind of kept your distance. You had a lot of jealousy. People were jealous of everything that you were. They were jealous of your looks. They were jealous of your abundance. They were jealous of your ability to be so protective, your ability to be so intelligent, even socially intelligent. And this caused a lot of evil eye. And that is probably why we have the black tourmaline. So a lot of people found you to be very stylish. People saw you as a snazzy dresser. But I do think that the person that you were really madly in love with, whether or not this last part what I'm about to say, it may or may not resonate, but for some of you, you managed to get pregnant by this person and you ended up having 3 kids. But I feel like your kids, unfortunately, I don't know if it's all of them, but one of them or 2 of them passed away. And the other 2 survived, or either 1 kid passed away and 2 survived, or 2 passed away and 1 survived. I'm being drawn to this particular picture, but I'm getting like, this picture's making me think of the Victorian era. So I do, not even Victorian, more like Elizabethan, but I feel like you guys, honestly, people just saw you as someone who was very drop dead beautiful. And the thing is, people would hate you. The jealous people, of course, would hate you because you are somebody who, you love yourself. You had a high level of self-esteem, but it also caused you to be very protective of your energy. And you were very loving. You were not pompous, you were not arrogant, you never looked down upon people. You just simply worked hard for yourself, and you got to a position where a lot of people would love to be in. And that came all through your hard work. There was no connections, there was no mom or dad's money, there was no one. You worked hard for everything in life, and you got it. But you have people who support you and people who love you, but it's kind of like you were very fearful of people's um like evil eye, you know? So it's like you had to protect yourself. But I feel like that person you are madly in love with, you may reunite again in this lifetime and have 3 kids with them or 2 kids with them. And I feel like with this person who loves you, this person fell in love with your soul. Like, they didn't see you as, oh yeah, but you're beautiful, that's why I love you. Like, this person was like the same as you, but in like a different, whatever you're attracted to. So if you're a woman, this was a man, and this man was similar to you, but in a male version. And they could see themselves in you, and that's why they fell in love with you. They felt like, wow, like you were my perfect match. But then it's almost as like, oh, I just don't trust people, you know, people have been very horrible towards me. So it kind of made you push people away. But that love was definitely mutual. So I feel like in this lifetime you have to like accept love, and that could be the karmic lesson here, like accept love. Don't think everybody here is trying to hurt you. So many people love you, and even if there are people who hate you, who are jealous of you, the amount of people who love you was always higher than the amount of people that hated you. But yeah, people really did feel like, some people would make up rumors about you, and they may think that you're somebody who looks down upon others, when you don't. You're very humble, and I feel like you're somebody who, you were willing to be there for other people. You're willing to share how you became successful. But there's some people who are so jealous. It's like they just didn't want to believe that you worked hard for it. They just want to believe that, you know, you were having sex with the right person. They will make up all sorts of rumors that were not true. Sometimes I feel like people do that because they're envious and they don't know how to be like you. And even if they try to emulate you, they can never be you. So out of frustration, they used to invent a lot of toxic gossip about you. But you were somebody who could give love to people, but it's like you were so afraid to accept it because you were just didn't know whether it was genuine or not. But I do sense that for some of you, I feel like somebody tried to get in the person that you're meant to be with's ear about you, and that person, that man or woman, didn't necessarily believe in the gossip, but it kind of made them a bit fearful. So you guys were mirroring each other. So it's like it made them feel like, should I trust pile 3? Is what I heard about pile 3 true? But then the person, nothing could stop their love for you, because their burning desire and their heart for you never ended even then. It made them more cautious, but it never died out. So it was like a mutual situation where there was both love there, but there was also fear of like, oh, what if it doesn't work out, you know? But some of you could have literally just got pregnant, and then you felt like, oh my God, like, you know, is this going to be the one for me? There was just so much fear surrounding the heart chakra. But yeah, you guys had the ability to care about other people, but you were not like codependent either. You had high self-esteem to the point where you felt like, okay, fair enough, I can love people, I can be there for people, but I'm not going to kill myself over a person. Like, you guys were never to that extent. So you guys had a healthy relationship with yourself. But you guys, I'm getting you guys looked really good in Saturn. You guys were very feminine if you're a woman, but you're also very masculine if you're a man. But you guys had the ability to really see and understand the world around you and how people behave. So I would not be surprised if some of you are interested in psychology in this lifetime, where you like to understand why people act in the way that they act. But I feel like for a lot of you, you could have lived in a country where the weather was very, very hot, blazing hot, but it's like you still dressed up in a way that as if you don't have to show much skin. You guys were dressed very modestly. You guys could have even been born in the Middle East in a past life. But for some reason, you guys still chose to remain modest in dress. So you guys really had the best wardrobe. You guys were very fashionable. But I'm also getting a lot of you guys had people who really saw you as somebody who's like a source of light. People who really saw you as somebody who they could go to and tell anything to. You would keep their secret. You guys were very good at holding secrets for yourself. But I'm also getting an energy where people really felt like if they were around you, they would also get good energy. So you were a good luck charm in many people's lives, especially with this helpful people. Like this energy around everybody is like it's glowing. So it's like because they are around this person, they also get to receive the light. So you had a lot of people who wanted to be in your energy, and that's why you attracted a lot of obsessive people as well. So many people were obsessive over you. And sometimes you didn't like it. Sometimes you were like, I don't want people to obsess over me. Like, what the hell? Like, I just want to be myself, basically. So it's almost like you guys became like in the past version level of famous. People really liked you, but it's like you didn't want too much attention. It's like people admired you and would talk about you. You were always the talk of the town. But it's like you didn't want that. Like you were not Kim Kardashian, whereby Kim wanted fame, Kim wanted success, and worked hard to get to that point. You were more like you accidentally cultivated a lot of fans, a lot of people who look up to you, a lot of people who love you, a lot of people who are obsessed with you just by being yourself. Like sometimes you may think, even in this lifetime, I want to change the world, I want to help the world, but how do I do that? Like I'm just one person. And I guess what Spirit is trying to say is just be yourself. Honestly, just be yourself. And that alone can really help inspire people to want to also live their authentic self. I feel like you lived in a time in the olden days where if you were being your authentic self, people would consider it quirky, people would consider it weird, but you didn't care. You were unapologetically yourself, and that is what people loved most. But there's just something I'm getting about like your outfits. They were always on point. Like you were very, very aesthetically pleasing. You could have Libra in your chart. You could have Taurus in your chart. Could even a little bit of Gemini, Aquarius. But you guys were very, very, very fashionable. And I'm hearing that you guys wore a lot of purple. A lot of purple. And oh yeah, and purple is a color of high status, sometimes royalty, like sometimes a high level of respect. But you guys really looked beautiful in purple. But yeah, you guys really worked hard for your abundance and you were rewarded by the universe. It may have taken you a while to get to that position, but you were very steadily patient. You didn't mind waiting. You didn't mind working hard and being blessed by the universe. So that's all I'm getting for pile number 3. I hope that was interesting to hear. These readings are always fun to do when it comes to like past life and stuff. But that's all I'm getting. I hope that helped any of you guys in some shape or form. And please do let me know what you would like to see next. And take care. Bye.